But what was he saying? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm not in the factory. I don't know for a fact. Yeah. However, what we're talking about is taurine, aka bull sperm, being in Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is true. Bull sperm used to be in Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was one of the ingredients, and it still is. However, since a particular, I can't remember what year exactly. You can Google it. They started synthetically making it in the lab. Synthetically, bro. You tried it. Synthetically.
You don't even know what the word means.
Yeah. What does it mean,
stay in your
Aladdin?
lane. Yeah, go on. What does it mean? It's what they're gonna do in Turkey for your hairline. Shush.
Why does he keep bending over like that, bro? He's bending backwards. But
So
yeah.
it's all Costa, innit?
But yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So how do we find out if it's true or not?
The thing is, yeah, that, you know, there's actually so many loopholes that they can get away with, and saying it's synthetically made. It could be synthetically supplemented, so they could still use, let's say, 5% actual bull sperm, but because 95% is synthetic, they're allowed to get away with saying synthetic.
Yeah.
It's like stuff that's non-alcoholic that actually has alcohol in it.
It's like McDonald's saying 100% beef, but actually
little bit horse
the
meat,
company name is 100% beef. No, that's the name of it. So they put in the label. Bro, put a mic, bro.
So,
Can we do some media training in this studio, bruv?
yeah, exactly. So
We've
so
had more
decaf coffee
professionalism
has
from
no-
young people. That's crazy.
Go on. Oh yeah, sorry. We got Costa behind the scenes,
AKA The Voice?
Yeah, AKA
The
the what?
I don't know if that's
The
his-
Voice,
I don't know
AKA
if
the
that's on his
Voice.
stick. Yeah,
We
go
got
on.
the Voice behind the scenes.
Go on, the voice.
The Voice said
Yeah.
decaf has caffeine in it.
There you go.
I'm guessing the same as we talked about the Red Bull.
Yeah,
Being
yeah.
synthetic.
There's a funny
They're allowed
joke
to say
here.
stuff.
There's a funny joke.
just lying.
Someone said, "My life is pointless like decaf coffee." Okay, it's not that funny after all. It's not that funny after
I
all.
was gonna say, can we edit crickets in there? But it's allowed to be
I like that one.
Alan's gonna leave that one in.
But yeah, Maz, listen. It's nice to have you on a podcast. It doesn't
Finally.
feel unfamiliar at all because obviously we worked on different projects and whatnot. And obviously you had your own. Well, we still have your own podcast. But I don't know what that face means. But either way,
little bit
let me start with just for the sake of the audience and beyond the surface and everything else. Like, who is Maz? Who are you?
That's a good question. I am Maz. You know, what?
My guy got lost.
I don't even know who I am. You know, nah. It's hard to introduce yourself.
Okay, you know what? Let's make it. Let's
I'm
keep on the
Maz.
surface level. What do you do?
24 now.
Did he just say you're 23?
I'm 24. I bugged out.
He said I'm 23. I'm 24 now.
I had to think of,
Happy birthday a minute ago.
Thank you, bro. Nah, but yeah, go on. I'm 24. I'm a trainee accountant, a content creator, and a barber. And I'm a father as well, and a husband. Come on.
Which one out of those is the most? Which one's teaching you the most?
Which one's teaching me the most?
Yeah.
Ooh, marriage. Marriage, definitely marriage.
So you don't care about your kid?
You know, it is. I'm the eldest child, and between me and my younger brother, the youngest brother, there's a 11-year age gap. So I've already like sort of had a hand in helping out like with a baby before. So
Okay.
it's not too new for me, this experience, and obviously now it's just like a deeper connection because it's actually my son. But yeah,
Okay.
in terms of experiences, it's not.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that people should know about you?
Life can't get me done. No matter what happens, it is what it is, isn't it? Whatever's meant to happen will happen. You know, you tie your camel and then whatever. You know, you just let life take it from there.
I'm just thinking, like, just on that term in itself, like, does life actually want to get someone down? No, I'm not saying just with you in general, but just overall. Like, I was just thinking about this the other day because people always talk about life is this, you know, like people say life is a bitch, or whatever the terms are used for. And I'm just thinking, like, actually, it's probably like the most incredible thing that people get to experience, but then people talk about it in a, I guess, quite negative way.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what it is? It's I don't know how to explain it fully, it's like you're putting the problem on life rather than on yourself. You're not taking accountability for it. You know, it's just shifting responsibility. Life can't get you down. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can get yourself down. You can take what you have in your life and you can use it to fuel your sadness, your happiness. You know, that's an internal thing. So you're right. Like, life can't do anything. Do you know what I mean? It's how you take it, how you take it on the chin and stuff.
Well, what do you think is the barrier for people to see it like that? Because I've kind of like, pretty much in the last 10 years, I've come across people who kind of like, whatever they believe in, it kind of like shows up in their life. So, for example, if they believe that, like if they're in a difficult situation, they can either like, it can either make them or break them. So if they believe it's going to make them, then it kind of makes them. If they believe it's going to break them, then it breaks them. It's just kind of thing that I'm always curious of, like, how do people get to these like different like mindsets or perspectives, and can people change as well?
I think people can change. It's not always easy to change, but it's definitely possible for everyone. I think the main thing is understanding the human brain, you know, first and foremost. And like, it's such a complex thing, and the way you can trick yourself and psychologically change things for yourself. Like, there was a story of a guy who was trapped in a freezer, at a workplace, and he's panicking. There's no inside release, and obviously he's getting cold. He's like, he doesn't know how he's gonna escape this, so he's banging on the door, he's screaming, you know, he's trying to get anyone's attention, but no one's there. I think a few hours later they found him, and he died in there. But he didn't die from the cold or from lack of oxygen. He died from panic. You get it? In that moment, obviously it's hard to say, we've never been trapped in a freezer, but because he panicked in that situation, because his brain was telling him, this is it, like, you need to get out of here immediately, you're going to die, his brain killed himself. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If he hadn't panicked, he could have survived.
I had a serious question, but kind of like in my head it turned out to a little bit of a joke, even though I didn't mean to. Because I was gonna say it sounded like fight, flight, or freeze, but that was not even the intention. I swear to God, because it's a serious situation. No, but that's the thing I was thinking about. I was thinking like freeze like doesn't apply to it, but it sounds like, but on a super serious note, like it sounds like he had a fight response, which is like gonna bang on the door, and because maybe it wasn't panic, maybe it was panic. To be honest, no one knows if he froze to death inside a freezer. No one really knows if he panicked or not, right?
No, they can tell. As in, he would, like, you can survive 3 hours in those sort
but
of
maybe
freezers.
instead of panicking, he was fighting for his life. Maybe he was just banging on the door, screaming.
Yeah, but that's because of panic, right? In that situation, like, so I used to work in Subway, so we had a freezer in there. It was cold, but I don't think if I spent 6 hours in there, I would die. Do you know what I mean? Like, industrial freezers are cold, but yeah, you're not gonna die unless you're in there for a whole day type of thing. So he could have survived. Do you get it? But obviously, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the brain is very powerful in that sense.
So there is fight, flight, or freeze. Actually, yeah, because you either fight, you leave, you fuck off basically, or you freeze. You don't do anything.
Yeah.
So there is actually freeze.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Nah, man,
it's not wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's interesting because so see with the fight, flight, or freeze. So say the way you respond to certain things in your life at the moment, were you always responding in a particular? So let's say whatever you respond fight to now, did you always respond fight to in those situations, or did it change from when he was younger? Because I realized the reason I'm asking, because I think it changes for people.
Yeah,
but
obviously I've not always been like this. I think just dealing with experiences and stuff that's happened in my life, and knowing what stuff I can take accountability for, and then there's times in the past where stuff's happened and it's made me feel a type of way, and I've sort of blamed myself or like let it get me down, and then it's like, you know, it makes you go into a dark place sometimes, innit? But then you realize when you're in that dark place, like, have I done everything I can do? Like, is that me giving my 100% effort to something, or is this a situation which is beyond my control? And then when you start thinking of it like that, and obviously faith played a huge part in it. Like, obviously for me, my religion's a big big part of my identity.
Mm.
And then you realize like there's some things in life where all you can do is your best in that situation. You know, whatever capacity you can do something in. Whatever happens after that, you know, you deal with the consequences of it if you have to, but ultimately, it's not your fault. Do you know what I mean? As long as you've done what you can in the right intentions and the right actions to get, you know, the outcome that you wanted to see.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that comes with age, though.
Mm.
You can't be born with something like that. Do you know what I mean? You have to have experienced something, and I think sometimes people experience stuff at different ages. So sometimes we'll see people my age, and I'll think, yo, you're kind of childish. But then obviously you've got to think about it as they haven't been challenged in certain things, and they won't be until later. They may never be. So they've never had to develop in that sense. So I think that turning point in people where your mindset changes only comes when you're faced with something that, you know, stretches you, challenges you. And then you can either, you know, make yourself become something, or it breaks you and then you're lost.
That's interesting. I want to get to free will, but just before I do that, Aladdin, so can we just turn up Costa, just leave it on now? Okay, it makes that sound cool. So whenever you want to say something, just, I don't know, tap Aladdin.
Tap yourself in. You can sit next to it and just tap yourself in.
No, you can just show him. But anyway, yeah, let's just carry on. So recently I've come across this like really interesting debate, and I guess it's mainly around like philosophers, right? And it's around free will. And the argument at the moment, I want to hear your thoughts on it, just overall, and then also what you think, what you kind of believe in as well. But the argument at the moment is around, so there's one side of people saying that free will doesn't exist.
Okay.
Another side is saying that free will does exist, but the argument comes in a shape. So let's assume someone is addicted to smoking cigarettes, right? So one side is saying that the reason they're addicted to smoking cigarettes because there is no free will.
Okay.
And because they don't have any free will, they're basically smoking, yeah, and they can't quit or whatever, or they're almost kind of just going with the flow of life to wherever life is taking them because they have no free will within that situation. Another argument is that actually the person that's smoking cigarettes and addicted to smoking cigarettes, they have free will, but they're not using the free will, and that's why they're addicted to cigarettes, because they're not utilizing it.
Yeah, I'd say I'm the latter. I don't think, especially like for that example, that's not a situation of free will. That's discipline. If you're smoking and you're someone who doesn't want to smoke, you don't have the discipline to stop. That's all it is. Any addiction in life, you have the free will to stop. Do you have the discipline? So I think in that sense, that example is, I think it doesn't really count here. Like you can't have free will to stop smoke. Of course you have free will. If tomorrow you want to stop, it's based on how disciplined you are to stopping. You know what I mean? But ultimately, no one can say start smoking. No one can say stop smoking. That's an internal thing. So yeah.
What would be a bigger, like a better example then? What would be
I mean, okay, examples could be like studying. You don't have free will to study. In this country, you have to be in the education system one way or another. So as a child, you have no free will for pursuing your education. You have to go primary school. If you're not in primary school, you have to go be homeschooled. Like you need education, do you get it? That's government imposing their will on us. We don't have free will in that situation. Do you get it? Like, but as a child, I can say I don't want to go to school. I don't have my parents slap me on the face, go to school.
So that's the thing.
That's not my free will.
So the thing is, and this is where we can clarify it now, because one of the things it's actually a great conversation to have, but so is free will having the ability to have the option to do otherwise? Because, for example, so let's say like if my parents are telling me, cool, I have to go like study, or if I'm under 18, the government saying I have to go study and whatever, like it doesn't mean I'm not gonna not go study, but it just means that if I decided not to, I don't have to, even though they might legally say you have to, whatever, I can still face the consequences of not doing so. But like I still have the free will to choose otherwise. But I'm just choosing that option because it comes with certain consequences. So wouldn't it mean that everyone's got free will, they just have to face the consequences that they might not want to face?
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm just giving you an example of where you can argue both sides. But I 100% agree. Yeah, your parents can tell you to go to school, but I know people who were told to go to school and just didn't. Do you know what I mean? You can go to school and not study. That's your free will. You chose not to study there. You didn't want to give your 100% because you didn't care. So you're there because legally you have to be there. Your parents said you have to be there, but you're not studying because you've chosen not to study. So yeah, ultimately everything's down to free will. And I think religiously as well, like that's part of my beliefs. Like you have free will to do what you want. Like obviously there's a lot of, when you go into like Muslim Twitter or like Muslim discourses where they're talking about stuff, there's a lot of like back and forths about don't tell someone to do this. And like in Islam, we can advise, we can't tell. Like I can tell you, like as a brother, like let's say we're Muslims now and I see you picking up alcohol. I can tell you, bro, you're not meant to be drinking. Obviously, if we're boys, I'll slap it at your hand. But ultimately, if that is your choice to do, my job is just to tell you, bro, don't do it. And then if in my, like in our relationship, I am able to physically stop you, then I should do it. But I can't go see next man on the street just because I know he's Muslim and fight him because he's drinking. But I can advise him. Do you get what I'm saying? So even then, it doesn't matter. You have the free will to choose what you want to do. Like even though your religion tells you you're not allowed to do it, if you want to do it, do it. You're just forbidden. But yeah.
So I think I agree with that, and I think when it comes to school, it's not just you just getting the consequences. I think it's your parents that get the consequences. So it's a trickle down effect. So I don't know if free will is a good example for that one. But in terms of religion, I think it's a little bit different, because then obviously you have free will. Well, do you? Because in a lot of cultures, you sort of get into religion before you're even aware of what it is. So maybe free will starts once you have the right knowledge or you're aware enough. Does that make sense? Because they say ignorance is bliss and all that kind of stuff. So once you're aware of something where, you know, the one side, the other side, maybe then that's when the free will starts coming in and kicking in. Does that make sense? Because now you know. If you don't know, then...
Yeah, I think I'm also thinking there's another element, which is like if someone's like, I don't know, like neurodiverse or whatever the labels are nowadays, or someone doesn't, let's say, I'm going to use the term, if someone doesn't function to the society standard that's expected in society, like, you know, to have common sense or this, that, or whatever. And I'm thinking, do they have a free will as well? Or is free will limited to them? Or it's like, I'm not sure where I'm at with if free will applies the same to everyone. So maybe some people do have free will, some people don't. And then it's just like, based on perspective, or is it based on their maybe neurological, I don't know, there's all these factors that comes into it, which is quite interesting.
I think in those situations, they have different free will. They still have free will, but not to the extent of like I've got special needs family members. I can just walk out my house and just go do what I want. They can't. They don't have that aspect of free will. But where their free will comes into play is, you know, in their life, how they choose to respond, and obviously like the behavioral side, because there's times where obviously like I've had this debate with other people as well, where they're like, it's not their fault, but at the same time, I'm not like faulting. I'm not saying someone who's special needs and who acts up, it's their fault for acting up. But at the same time, I do think it's still a choice that they made. You know, just because we're not understanding how their choices are made and how they're viewing it, in their head, that's a choice. So like my auntie, for example, I have an auntie with special needs. Back in the day, she was a very short fuse. And she chose to be like that. And you can say, she had limited understanding, but she's got the same understanding now that she had then. But now she's very mellow. Like obviously it's whatever's changed for her has changed, like obviously living situations and her relationships with other people, like it's all changed and made her a better person. But ultimately, if she tomorrow wants to, you know, act up again, she has that choice. Like she can make that choice. And we see it all the time where sometimes she's a bit annoyed and she makes the choice to act up. And sometimes like we see she chooses not to. Like there's still free will in that. She can choose what she wants to do. It may not be the same choices we're presented with, but it's a choice that she's faced with. You know?
But he said she's still got the same understanding, but maybe her understanding has changed, isn't it? Because like again, just going back to that thing of like, and maybe I'm being a bit selfish, like bringing up this to the conversation, but I'm really like curious about how do we facilitate change for people, like positive change. Obviously, I know there's obviously the side of like life coaching, which is asking questions like and important, powerful questions that can shift something for the person. But besides that, it's just like how do we facilitate a change that's positive? And where it can actually help people understand that whatever they believe in, and I think this actually, let me be more specific, change around their beliefs, which I'm not talking about religious beliefs, by the way, but I'm talking about how they perceive life and how they perceive everything around them. And I think, how do we facilitate that change for them where they can completely transition from whatever they believe in, they believe something else that adds more value for them. It's such a weird thing because it's not necessarily within my control or like people's control, but it's something we can influence. Have you seen that? You ever seen those like three circles, and it's like 3 different areas that someone can focus on? So there's like 3 circles. The outer circle is things we have no control over, which is most people that I talk to spend a lot of time there. They talk about things like war, government, I don't know, arguments they had with someone. They have no control over that whatsoever, and they just spend so much time there overthinking it all the time. And then the middle circle is like things you can influence. So you can't fully control it, but you can do something to kind of influence it a little bit, maybe change it potentially. And then the middle circle is yourself. And it's like you can control yourself fully. You can respond to things in a certain way and everything else. That's assuming people think they got free will. But it's so interesting to see where people spend their time at in terms of their thinking and what they focus on. Especially on social media, there's a lot of the out circle. So much of it.
So much.
I think it might be a little bit liberating for people initially to think that there's no free will, so that it's nothing, their accountability is. Does that make sense? So it's almost like, it is almost like smoking, like drinking, where you like, you have certain thoughts or whatever, and then you just sort of release from them for that moment, but then it can come back to bite you, I guess, because then you realize that you've gone into a route where now you've given all power to everything else. You know what I mean? Because we might talk about religion or whatever, but you still, you're still accountable of whether it's you that you want to change. Does that make so? Maybe it's a relief for some people to say that they don't have free will. I think we've got the definition here, which is the supposed power or capacity of humans to make decisions or perform actions independently of any prior event or state of the universe.
State of the universe, I like
that one.
Can you read that one more time, please?
So, free will in philosophy and science is the supposed power or capacity of humans to make decisions or perform actions independently of any prior event or state of the universe. And it says humans,
Just the humans.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there's like few words that stood out for me. One is capacity. So going back to the thing that kind of answered that question I was asking earlier, I guess asking myself, yourself as well, which is around like, what if someone functions differently? So no, that's based on capacity as well. There was one more. What was the other one? Sorry, one more time. I'm sorry about that. Last one. I ain't got a free will to remember it.
So the supposed power or capacity of humans to make decisions or perform actions independently of any prior events or state of the universe.
That's the one. The word independently stood out for me as well. But then, can someone?
It's okay. So I've had this debate with someone once. It's the idea that no matter what you think you decide, it's already been decided on you based on what you've experienced in your life, your genetic and your ancestral makeup. It's all been decided for you. So whether you like a certain, you like a certain type of food, that's not your choice to like it. It's been passed down to you by your culture that this is a food that you enjoy, and based on the nurture and the environment around you, that this is a food that you enjoy. Obviously, that's not the best example of it, but that's part of the argument, that I can say, I have free will to, drive or not drive. But then the argument from the other side is there's been past events in your life that's led up to that point, which means you don't have free will in this moment to decide whether you want to drive or not drive. You get what I'm trying to say?
So you know what? Yeah. So free will. So this is great. So for me, what's coming up for me now is that free will is the only way to have free will for me in my map of the world is to have full detachment from everything. Yeah. So meaning I think, and one of the things that stood out for me is that there's societal conditioning. So if I take on the conditioning and I go, I'm gonna live based on what I'm conditioned to do, which is whatever foods I'm meant to like and whatever, then my free will is basically disappeared or faded out. Whereas if I decide to detach from everything, then that way I'm practicing free will.
But at the same time,
yeah,
in that sentence, what you said is decide. Did you decide to take society's conditioning? Or did you decide to live away from what society deems? Just the fact that the word decision is there means you have the ability to choose for yourself. Therefore, you have free will. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is where the argument I had with this person never finished, because everything I said I have a choice for, they linked it back to X, Y, Z and X, Y, Z, and like it was a long chain. But for me, it doesn't matter if the past 24 years of my life has led me to think a certain way. At every single stage in that point in my life, I had free will. So I had the free will, and then that influenced my next choice of free will. But it's still, if you take it back to the first stage, it was my free will. The only time you can say you don't have free will is when you're a baby, when you don't have, full control over what you do, when you eat, all of that stuff. When you don't have full control over yourself, firstly, sure, you don't have free will at that point. Even then, there's like elements of free will. Do you know what I mean? Like, but you can't really study babies like that, so we don't know. You know what I mean?
But babies might actually have. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to be a bit. Trying to think outside the box. But babies maybe have the most free will out of everyone.
You think? They're the most freedom, maybe.
Because it depends. It depends how you measure free will. Like, how would
free will is the ability to choose what you want to do.
Yeah, but then if babies don't have to choose,
you chose to go Tesco today, yeah.
But if babies don't have to choose,
so they don't have free will. Like my son, if I change his nappy or not, that's not on him. I choose that for him.
Based on that definition that was given to us, I guess the definition is subjective to that particular field, but it talks about an event having a contributing factor to what you decide to do today, which means there must be some form of influence. Babies aren't influenced up until a certain age, maybe like a few months in, but before then there is no influence. So the entire choices is their choices. They choose to cry, they choose to shit, they choose to whatever. Like,
no, but they don't.
Could we argue that us choosing to use a toilet in a toilet is free will, or have we been taught that that's what we should be doing? Because babies take a dump wherever they want to take a dump. So who has the more free will?
I think you're confusing it.
Okay.
Babies don't have a free will. Babies just poo.
Yeah, our choice.
No. Right now, we have a choice whether we want to hold it or if I want to say, yo, pause the podcast, I need to go poo. That's a choice, whether to poo or not poo. Babies don't have that control over their body. Up until a certain age, they don't have that.
There's a element of control that... Because I'm going based off that definition.
No, but...
Which means there must be some influence.
Okay, think instead of the definition, think with your brain.
I have my own definition. I'm going based off that definition.
No, forget the definition. Think of it logically.
Okay.
Yes, okay, they have no prior events or whatever, but they have... What we've just been discussing is they have no control over themselves. Free will starts from the moment you can make a choice about something.
I agree with that.
Do you get it? As a baby, you don't really have that choice.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
In terms of what I think, I'm more in the line with you. I'm just kind of going off that definition about how essentially what I was trying to say is that if there must be some form of influence for you to... Because there's an influence, there's no... So like we said
but
about...
babies do have influence.
Like we said about the whole food thing. Yeah. Like your life is based around your environment. Whatever choices you make is because you was influenced by X, Y, and Z. If that be true, then that applies to everything that we do. Whereas babies haven't been influenced yet. That's that. But in terms of what I think...
No, but the argument is that even then, babies have been influenced based on the genetic DNA. Do you get it?
So it goes even further. Oh,
That's
sorry.
what that side of the argument is.
But is that influence or is that something, or is that something that's just passed on? Is that something that's just transferred, right? Like if some of your genetics, they're not necessarily, you didn't influence your kid with your genetics, you just passed some of your genetics on.
Yeah.
And it's a combination of your wife's genetics as well.
Yeah.
Oh, question.
So whether it's passed on, but besides that, like the thing about babies, right? They don't have like, let's say they don't have the free will, or did they have free will? They're just nothing. Like they don't have like the consciousness to think about particular things.
That's
So
all
they
it is.
just exist.
Yeah.
Until they get to the
Until
point where like
you-
you can
yeah.
start conditioning, or society conditions them and everything else.
I got a question. So recently I played a game of Monopoly with my family.
Okay.
And so I'm now. now
Matt is like, okay.
here we go. Let's take that game as a great example.
Okay.
How much of the game do you actually have control over? You have control over what decision you make after the dice have been rolled and you land the way you landed.
Yeah.
Anything before that is completely out of your control. So your free will starts from when that dice is rolled and the pieces landed in that thing. That's when your free will starts after
Of
that.
course.
But before that is basically the influence, is the genetics, is the environment, whatever. So your free will starts from when you essentially take control after you've been given a set of rules to live by.
I don't think it's a set of rules to live by. I get what you mean about the dice roll, though.
Like a set,
Up until
maybe not rules, but like, you know.
I guess in Monopoly, the dice roll is something that, in the form of when we're talking about humans, is lack of consciousness, of ability to control your own self.
Maybe it's just
Because in Monopoly, you can't choose to roll a 6 or a
yeah.
5
But I'm saying I'm using it on the same level as what you're born into, the environment and the genetic code that you have and all that. That's the dice roll. It's 100% chance. It could be tailored to. It could be like kind of swayed one side and the other, but the fact is we'll have we'll have a chance of having any combination of genetics. It's just more one side and because of your parents, right? But the fact is it's still a percentage of you being black when you were born, or me having blue eyes.
That's not how genetics works.
It may be small. No,
That's-
because we'll carry it, right? We'll carry it's tiny as shit.
No,
but
okay.
it's not
yes,
prominent.
Okay.
But I'm saying, so the chances of me rolling double ones versus the chance of me rolling, like probability would say that there's a higher chance of me rolling a particular combination of numbers versus another one. That's the kind of example I'm trying to bring up. That being every option is possible, but there is more chance of one particular option that's going to be possible. So that's what I'm trying to say in terms of like where we land, where we're born, is equal to that of the dice roll, which is 100% chance. And then after that is when we start taking full control and becomes free will.
Yeah, of course, because that's just like logically that just makes sense.
This is a great conversation because like on a deeper level, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking like, we all here by free will. Like, is this? It's you know what I'm saying?
we're in this room by free will.
No, it's an interesting thing, but just you know what? I'm gonna put something into the mix, yeah. So for example, you said you got YouTube Premium. Everyone's got YouTube, and then obviously you're gonna have a particular algorithm, right? Algorithm is more like the DNA that's passed on, right? So it's not like necessarily you didn't choose the algorithm. It's just actually even then that's debatable because you didn't choose, but you shaped the algorithm, I guess. Yeah.
Nah, the algorithm is 100% based on you.
Yeah, but the thing about the algorithm, right? It's like once you get the algorithm that's being pushed towards you, it's like how much of a free choice do you have? Because really and truly, you're kind of trapped in your own algorithm cycle.
No, you're not. You're not trapped though.
Okay.
But as in think about it. No. So let's say I go on my homepage, yeah, and you're right. I'm only gonna see suggested videos of stuff that I've already interacted with and shown interest in. I still have the ability to then search for something completely different.
That's if you remember the ability.
I always have the ability.
I know, but that's if you remember it, because most people forget. Costa gone.
So I took the liberty to translate that in my own language. So I'm just looking at a little bit. It's not different, but it's a little bit different. It says free will is the ability of a person to have choices without being restricted by the outside influences, which is same but a little bit different. It says a little bit different. So the outside influences is the algorithm, is the people that you speak to. So it's maybe when you get to know that you have it and how you choose to actually use your free will. So it's something that you've got. It's like it says it's a skill.
Okay.
I can see it being a skill.
Exactly.
Because like for example, let's just say you got person A and person B. Person A is a person that goes, oh, this is what my algorithm is. I don't have the skill. I haven't developed the skill to be like I can go outside my algorithm. Person B is what you're saying, can still like press explore new and or whatever. But the thing about social media overall, not just YouTube, is that they want to feed what keeps you on there for longer, because that's how they make more money from it. So then that's when it's kind of like, is people's free will like really tampered a little bit?
I don't think it is. I think you still have the free will. It's let's talk like peer pressure. Some people, you always have the free will to do what your friends are doing or to not do what your friends are doing. Some people don't have that confidence or that ability, that skill to say, nah, I'm going to do something different. So when the algorithm's pushing one thing, they don't choose to exert their free will. You, at every single time, you have the choice to exert your free will or to not exert your free will. And that's all it is.
Maybe free will is part of the human nature. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And I think they're not, obviously, when we're talking about social media, maybe they're not trying to, they're obviously trying to make some profit, okay, and that's, the number one thing of business, all right? But maybe they're trying to make you, obviously, free will, I think sometimes might sound a little bit more rebellious as a skill, if that makes sense. So maybe they tried not to take your free will, but make you think that your free will is to be on these platforms. So free will can be a skill where it can be used for you, it can be used against you. Because you think you have, I have a free will to do this, blah, 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 but you don't know you're hurting yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is the kind of conversation this is one of the reasons I brought it up. I said it's a good conversation, but it's also like we said you was arguing with your friend. It kind of goes like in circles. It's kind of like the free will does exist, and you come, but what if that happens? It doesn't exist. But kind of like it reminds me of that yin and yang concept, right? It's like everything in life, right? It's kind of like the free will would not exist without lack of free will. Right? Like if there's no comparison, no contrast, the whole thing of like you can't be sad without being happy, or I don't know, maybe that's not true, but it kind of gives the opposing factor gives the thing contrast and understanding of what the thing is. It's like, I don't know, like would this be the inside without the outside? Basically. That sort of thing. So it's like it's one needs the other. So maybe both of them exist. Maybe lack of free will is a thing. So no one has free will and we have free will at the same time. Well, if you have both at the same time, but it depends which one you utilize in the situation.
You do to an extent though, innit? It depends on your situation. Like let's say, I don't know, prisoners. They have a lack of free will in certain aspects. They can't just walk out of the prison. You know what I mean? That's their free will is centered down to their capacity is reduced of their free will. Do you get what I'm saying from the earlier definition? But yeah. So I guess situational.
Yeah, because someone even doing a debate, some of them ended up in prison because of lack of free will.
Nah.
Or sometimes maybe too much of free will. But that's
too much. I think it's always too much.
But that's the beautiful thing about this thing. And what the conclusion I'm coming to, both of them exist at the same time. It's like I'm nothing and something at the same time. We started off the conversation with like, who's Maz? Like, who's, what's your identity? And it's like, one thing I realized is the whole thing of like the detachment, the moment I detach myself from everything, it's like I'm no one. And it's like the moment I attach myself to this identity, this other thing, then I would start becoming Leo. And I have all these different sets of like factors for what makes me me.
Of course.
So it's like I'm nothing and something at the same time. They both exist. It just depends on what, I guess, and it goes back to the perspective, right? In life, it's like, what do we choose? What angle are we choosing to look at something from? Like, what's valuable for me? And that's, I'm trying to get to a point where like, cool, how can I help people add more value to their life by helping them shift from where they are now to a different location? And it's whatever value they want. It's not about me, but I
think adding value is 9 times out of 10 it's about accountability, in my opinion. And it's not always an easy conversation to have with people from from my own experience, innit? In the sense of when someone's in that deep hole and there is a way out, but they're sort of comfortable being in that hole and they don't want to take that step to come out of it. But they also don't want to admit that they are accountable for not taking that step. Like, if more people had that self-accountability, I think a lot more people could be able to think more positively or take more control over certain aspects of their life and be away from worrying about the outer circle and come more towards the inner circle a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Are you excited or scared of the future in any shape or form? So like what's your take on where we are now in society and the world, like in terms of technology, just in terms of everything that's happening at the moment? Like, where do you think we're heading?
Well, as a society or me as myself?
Not as a society, just like obviously you're part of the society too, but I just think like, yeah. But where do you think the world is heading to in the next like 10 to 20 years?
I mean, if we're talking like technologically, then yeah, I'm quite excited. Like I feel like the growth of technology has been exponential. Like it's crazy to see, going from where the first iPhone started to now where we are, and how much technology is like integrated into our life and what we can do with it, and like we're as like amongst the people I know, like we're barely scratching the surface. There's people all around the world that do nut stuff with technology. Do you know what I mean? And as that stuff becomes more accessible to us, then we're like, oh wow, like we've just got this new technology, whereas they're on the next level. So it's always interesting to see in the next 10, 20 years, what are they going to pass down to us and make mainstream, and then what are they going to go and innovate? And that's always exciting for me. But I think there's many layers to the future of society. You know
let's imagine 20 years from now.
Yeah.
You're waking up in the morning. Like, with all the technological advancements, what do you think a day looks like? What kind of house are you waking up in? What's the bedroom like? Does your fridge talk to you? Like, is your fridge walking to your bedroom to give you like breakfast or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really interesting, isn't it? It's like, what car are you getting into? Is your car flying? Like,
I don't think we'll ever get that far.
Okay, but let's just take it there. I don't know how your imagination, like how good your imagination is, or if you're.
You know, I can imagine all that, but if we're talking what I think, then I've got.
That's what. This about you, bro. It's what you think, man. There's no other guest on here.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like, as in, I feel like even if we take it 20 years time, it just depends on how much you want to integrate that, like your life into whatever technology is available. Your fridge can walk to you. I don't want my fridge to walk to me, therefore my fridge won't walk to me.
I didn't say I want my fridge to walk to me. I just gave an example.
Yeah, chill out. You want your fridge to walk to you and give me the fridge. Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, you want to sit there on the couch, legs up.
Now I want my air fryer to walk to me, bro. I want it to fly to me furthermore.
Nah, but I mean, yeah, like I don't know. In my opinion, that's a very open-ended question, isn't it? Like, where do I wake up? I don't know. As long as I have a roof over my head, I'm grateful, innit?
I just want to see if you actually think about like where we're heading to.
I saw something about the whole flying cars thing, and I said that it doesn't
exist.
Huh?
It exists.
No, it exists, yeah. But I'm saying for it to be mainstream, it's very unlikely to become mainstream because of the logistics of having to create like airborne road infrastructure in the air, as well as maintaining that on the ground. And how do you slowly create that?
You don't.
I remember, and this is crazy to think that this was the peak of technology. Once upon a time, we used to think, oh, this is what 2020 is gonna like. That the number 2020, the year 2020 sounds like, oh shit, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
And once upon a time, that's what you thought the peak was, and like when you really think about it, it's just not happening.
I think human imagination of technology is worse than the technology that we've got. Think about it, yeah. Let's say like 30, 40 years ago, or when you watch them old series and stuff, and then they're like, oh yeah, we'll have flying cars in the future. They're limited based on the technology that they have in that moment. Because can you imagine telling one of them, I can sit in my house, in East London, and I can send a portable flying robot to my friend's house, which is 5 miles away, and I can just see what he's doing, and then I can bring it back to me. They would have lost their minds.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I think there's technology that we're limited to thinking walking fridge, but there's a whole different innovation that we don't even know exists.
There's a movie that really highlights it. I don't know if you've not seen Back to the Future, but the Back to the Future movies, when they look into the future, their future imagination is based on when that movie was taking place, which was in the 90s, I believe, or 80s, something like that. But like their imagination was based on that period of time, what the future would look like.
Yeah.
Because they go to like 2017 or 18 some shit in the movie, and you compare it.
Yeah. Night and day different. Yeah.
But like it's really limited. So what we're thinking about now, I'm basically going based on your point.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
our current imagination is based on what we're existing today.
Yeah.
But it's great because we're not the ones that's innovating. It's the people that are innovating. They're gonna be creating because they're better equipped to,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
innovate.
Do you know what?
To have a better imagination.
I've taken this from Aladdin actually, and like the whole thing of, because obviously like part of creation, part of like science and everything else is like you have to imagine something first, right? It's the whole thing of not just within science, but just in general. You know, this thing like people say that people should visualize themselves. So like you should visualize yourself having that job or whatever it is. But visualization is a really powerful thing. So one of the things about movies, and Aladdin says this a lot, is that like everything we see now was in the movies once upon a time. Like even if you see the Tesla robot stuff, yeah, like bro, that's in movies. Like so a robot comes and does this and whatever.
And stuff.
But it's such an interesting thing because actually they innovated everything in the movies already. It's just now, just like once the imagination innovation's done, it's like how do we actually make a reality, and how do we literally put that thing
movies
together?
are like they're like they're the easiest way to achieve our imagination, right? It's CGI and the bunch of computers, whatever. But to actually create it is the next step. But it is a great way to like have an insight of what the future could look like. Again, another example is Blade Runner. Or Blade Runner, the first one in 2049, is like they wanted to showcase what a potential future could look like. But what I like about that is it also showcases the harms of our imagination going too far. iRobot, Terminator, whatever. That's it. And I think if it wasn't for movies, in my opinion, if it wasn't for movies, our world would be fucked right now. Because our current innovators are more conscious about what they're doing with the innovation. AI being a great example. If we hadn't had these warning signs from movies, they'll go crazy. But because they know what the potential outcome could be from other imaginative directors and filmmakers, they saw what could potentially happen, so they're more conscious and cautious about what they create. Whereas take out the movies and the imagination from the directors, now they have no fears, they have no conscious kind of like.
I disagree.
Go on, please.
I disagree.
Do you think they prepare us? I mean, as in like, you see all these these ones like Matrix and stuff like that. Do you think they actually prepare us? So when I'm saying that they prepare us, maybe the movies prepare us, or they consciously prepare us so that we start getting used to that. So when it comes, it doesn't look foreign, whether that's good or bad. Anyways, does that make sense? So even for the bad stuff, does that make sense that comes to us? We just pass it on as, oh, that's nothing. Do you know what I mean? Or we're just so used to it now that we're like, it's just part of our life. Okay, it happens, this happens. It's like this, although it might be harmful for us. Does that make sense?
Isn't it there? What if we're going to get to that stage where we can actually build pyramids and then we get wiped?
We can actually build pyramids.
Yeah.
But we can build pyramids.
Oh, you can?
Why can't you?
But the same way the pyramids got built now.
Of course you can.
Is it?
You're telling me you can build 1 million skyscrapers and you can't
No,
build a
the
pyramid?
pyramids are way more advanced than the skyscrapers.
Apparently we can't build
like
them.
the interior of it alone.
No,
is
no, no.
insane.
I'm not saying it's not insane.
Mm.
I'm saying the pyramids are there, right?
Yeah.
You can make another one. Easy.
Where did I see? Is someone?
They might be saying, "Oh, it's impossible to." Yeah, of course it's not impossible, bro. You got shoes that can talk to your phone and tell you how many
the
steps you
Bluetooth
got. Your
device
watch,
is connected.
you know what I mean? Like your watch.
Hello?
Your watch.
Hello?
Your watch tells you.
Wait, my shoe's talking to my
Yeah,
phone, bro.
chill. Your watch tells you your beats per minute of your heart rate. Like, what's your heart rate right now?
0.
Shush. But it's like, you're telling me we can do all of this, yeah? You can make the tallest buildings in the world, and you can't make the pyramids. It's not you can't. It's you're just not going to. There's no reason to build the pyramids.
I think
Do you know what I mean?
I think it was Egyptologists. They would do it just to prove they can.
No, because
I
it's
think
not,
that's
it's
why
not,
they haven't
it's
done
not
it. It's
feasible. It's not like financially. It doesn't make sense.
It does make
it's
sense.
a tourist attraction. Like,
It's there though.
It
Who
does
wants
make
to
sense.
go see another set of pyramids made?
I'll be honest with you.
The pyramids are there.
The Chinese have already done this probably. I mean, they've got places like no. But on a serious note, yeah.
That came out of nowhere, bro.
These men have created again like places like Santorini in Greece or stuff like that that you got in China, and they go and so I'm sure they've done something with the pyramids, bro.
Bro,
Or they could
source
do.
trust me, bro. Listen,
Trust me, bro.
Source trust me, bro. Do you have any evidence for that?
The one I told you, the island, yes, but not that they can build.
Listen, this is a fact. This is a fact-based philosophical conversation. Yeah, these don't even exist.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you can't. I don't know.
So do you know what I'm interested in? I'm very curious about quantum computing, quantum computers and quantum computing coming up. I think that's gonna, because obviously there's a lot of different, there's AI and all the other stuff, which is cool. I get it, and some of that stuff is predictable. So for example, I think at some point, I don't know, if Costa has a particular business, I can go on use AI to say, hey, can you create business just like Costa's, but also change this for this demographic, and it'll do it. Just in a, you know what I'm saying? Because already you can do coding and stuff. It'll create websites, everything. So I think it will shortcut a lot of different things. But I think quantum computing it takes us to a whole different realm in itself. And I'm just really curious. I don't know what's going to happen with it. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest, I guess, technological shifts, because obviously right now we've got, like, I think only a few computers or whatever, but we're going to see what's going to happen. Actually, even in terms of cryptocurrency, so at the moment you can't really hack cryptocurrencies, as in, like, you can't decrypt. You can't decrypt it, but actually quantum computers can. So in the future, that's not going to. So it's how they're going to protect that and all of that other stuff as well. Do you know how quantum computing works?
I haven't done too much research into it.
So you see how there's like ones and O's that get sent.
Binary.
So even this is binary code and whatever you get sent through. Yeah. So quantum computers use something called qubits. So they're not. So they can represent 0 and 1 at the same time. They're not one or the other.
Okay.
So that's why they can solve, like, basically they can solve particular problems that other computers can't. They can solve it. So for example, like complex simulations or cryptographic challenges, or it can do it far faster than traditional computers, basically. Like way faster, like much faster. But it'll be interesting to see what happens then, because it just gives so many different possibilities.
True.
Yeah.
I realized this about tech a while ago. Technological advancement is just making something and then figuring out a way to make it smaller so you can have multiple of them together, working together to make something else, and then shrinking that. Like GPUs, for example. GPUs used to be quite big, right? They managed to miniaturize it and then put a bunch of them together to make a new one, and then miniaturize that one, put a bunch of them together to make a new one, and that's all it is. It's like, it's just making a thing, making it small, making a bunch of them together, and then that's all it is. It's just that on repeat. That's all the technology.
No, but that's why quantum. Let's put it like this. So what you're talking about has its limits, right? So the next realm for that is quantum. So like quantum is
that's what a lot of technology is. Quantum, like
no, it's not. It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not. Shit. Quantum is a whole new realm that we're entering. So not even like in Ant-Man, you get these like quantum, like whatever. That's not. That's not. When we're talking about quantum
he's
things,
thinking about quantum right now, because he just said it is quantum because it's small.
No, it's not.
No, quantum is macroscopic. Like it's
no,
like,
quantum is stuff you can't see with naked eye, bro.
I know, microscopic. Microscope is
some stuff you can see with a naked eye with microscopes that you can see through microscopes.
So you're talking even smaller than that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll read it to you. Quantum physics is a branch of science that studies the behavior of particles at the smallest scales, like atoms and subatomic particles.
Yeah, that's what Sheldon was doing, isn't it?
Yeah, and like classical physics, it shows the particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously. Superposition, and behavior is influence, observation, wave, particle, duality. I don't know what none of these things mean, by the way.
Oh, so basically, like, there's different particle behaviors. It starts like, I don't know if you've ever looked at the double slit experiments and stuff.
No.
It's how light behaves as a wave and a particle at the same time, based on if you're observing it or not.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
So
some particles actively depending on being
like light.
It's crazy.
But light, if you're looking at it, acts a certain way, and if there's no observers, it creates a whole different.
But this is saying, so this also introduces uncertainty. So now how with some things you can look at it or you don't look at it, change. This saying this introduces uncertainty, as certain properties like the position and momentum cannot be precisely measured at the same time. And there's something called that's part of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. I hope they ain't talking about the Heisenberg from Breaking Bad.
I don't think
cooking crack and that. Where's he cooking crystal meth? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. But this is the stuff. This is the stuff that's like, I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen after this. man.
Yeah, obviously,
is
it's not.
stuff, though. That's
No,
crazy,
it's not
innit?
for us to know. It's for us to.
I know, but
accept
this
later on,
is,
innit?
bro. I would love to die. Yeah,
You know what? So do I, bro.
that didn't start the right way, but I would love to. Like, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Once I die,
make that the starting.
Yeah.
and that's the title. I would
I would
love
love to die. You know what? You know, if you ever do intros at the start of the podcast, you know, when say like later on, you know, the podcast do this like later on. Yeah, it starts with I would love to die.
It's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, now
He's a quantum computer up in there, fam.
once
So,
I die,
yeah.
I'd love to
Wait,
come
this
back
is
every like 100 years and just see what's going on.
No,
That's
but
how-
once we're dead, we can find out everything. You know.
But
what I mean?
doesn't it feel like a bit of like a simulation? So like it's kind of like we got thrown into this thing, and then someone's like observing us, yeah, and then just seeing where we get to and how we get there.
You know, you've just in a nutshell described religion.
Yeah.
It's actually very interesting, yeah, why we exist. This life, religiously, is a simulation.
Mm.
So it's a very broad subject, but like let's condense it a little bit, right? Ultimately, this world, our existence, didn't need to exist, right? So we are all but souls. Yeah, these bodies are just vessels. We are all souls. We exist as souls. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, heaven and hell exist, right? And Allah, Allah is what we say for God.
God, yeah.
Allah has on Judgment Day, you'll be sorted whether you go to heaven or you go to hell based on, what you do and that. If this world didn't exist, the souls would still be sorted wherever they're meant to go. Yeah, it's that idea of predestination. If you're a soul that is meant to be in heaven, you will be in heaven. If you're a soul that's meant to be in hell, you will be in hell. If this world didn't exist, if there was no existence of this simulation, your soul could argue. Yeah? Because let's say there was no need for this world. Yeah? Allah could just say, you go heaven, you go hell. You've just been told you're going hell. And you're there, like, if you think about it from a conscious perspective, how am I being sent to hell if I haven't done anything? You know what I mean? Like, there is, like, what are you basing this off? Allah can say, I know you would do this and this and this because He's your creator. You don't know that. And your argument will be, like, how can you say that? Like, I'd be the best. I'd go heaven, 100%. This world's simulation exists solely as evidence against us on the Day of Judgment.
Mm.
And that's how it works. Where on the Day of Judgment, if you are being sent to hell, well, we say there's a book, right? It's at all times during your life, your deeds are being written down, your sins are being written down by angels. At the end of everything, when the Day of Judgment comes and you are put forward, and let's say you're going to heaven, there's a book of accountability that shows why you are going to heaven. If you're being sent to hell, there's a book of accountability as to why you're going to hell. It's an explanation just for us to understand why we're going to wherever we're going for the rest of our lives. Because for us, that's eternal. Yeah. That's what it is. So, like, it's funny, like, for us, this, as Muslims, how we're meant to view it is literally like that. This world don't mean nothing. It's niche. How it is explained is this whole lifetime, like the whole earth's existence. Once you're in the time beyond time, once you're in heaven or hell, your entire existence will be minutes.
I wonder if anyone ever goes like, why me?
In terms of what?
Just like existence.
Why do I exist?
Yeah, like
I'm
just,
sure there's
no,
millions of
not why
people
do I
that-
exist, but why me? Like, why me? Why not someone else?
There is someone else.
No, there is like, I mean, like, out of all the possibilities.
Your free will and your choices, whatever you've decided in your life, have made you.
Why
you.
me though? Why me? Why me?
Why you what?
Why me?
Why you what?
That's it.
bro?
Just why me?
As in, why do you exist, or why
Nah,
have
just
you been
that's
judged
it.
this
Just
way?
no. Why me?
Sounds like Balotelli, bro.
You know what I mean? Why always me?
Why
But-
me?
No, but why you in what context?
But why me? That's it.
Look, we can't have a 5-minute segment of you just saying why me, bro.
Why me, bro? Clip. Why me?
Why you? Why not you? There is no one.
That's a good question.
There is no one better situated to be. Yeah, thank you for
Mm.
just walking across while I'm speaking. Therefore, my camera is on. You know, this
Why
level
me?
of unprofessionality is crazy.
Unprofessional ability.
Come on, dumb ones.
Yeah.
But why not you? There is no one better suited to be in your position than you.
I don't know.
Not a
man.
single soul in existence is better placed to be where you are than you.
No, listen. Don't
That's
get
how
me
it's-
wrong. I
that's
see.
why
I
you-
see it as miracle and stuff.
No, but
as
that's why you, bro.
magic. But such a like. I don't know. Life is such a weird experience.
Life is
So
what you
weird,
make it, bro.
man. Unexplainable. It's like. I've always feel like I've almost got the answers and then I don't have them. Just like that.
I got a book for you, my brother. I got a book for you. It's 30 chapters.
It's
a beautiful book. It's got answers for everything in there, my brother.
But yeah, man. I was gonna ask you something else. I forgot what it was before we
Why,
start
bro?
wrapping up. But why me though?
Why you forget?
Why me?
Why?
Why me? Yeah, it's so weird that there's even in this like temporary life, which is still the longest thing that we get to do, if we don't consider religion and what happens after we die.
Always consider religion, brother.
No, I'm just saying if we didn't, I'm not saying we're not considered, but I'm saying if we didn't,
you can't.
just to contrast,
My existence doesn't
to
exist. then.
highlight. Why me though?
No, if you say don't consider religion, my existence doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
why me? Why me? Nah, but what was I gonna say? I forgot now.
Just say why me
It's
again,
gone.
bro.
Why me? Why me? I forgot.
Why him? Why
Why
him
him?
here? Why him sit?
Yeah, nah, just even though like we got this like short like material existence, like the amount of importance people put into like silly things is just, it's ridiculous.
Bro.
And not to say, but the thing is, but at the same time, it's also important, right? It's at the same time, the things that we find, we know we can't take these things to the grave and everything else, but at the same time, we still, there's something about human beings that, I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe that's something I'm
It's-
reflecting on.
Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the materialism and the... I get what you're saying, like, we care too much about trivial things.
But okay, so this
But the
one,
trivial things can still matter in your little life.
so this
I
one,
get it.
yeah,
I
this
get
is what I'm trying to say.
you're saying.
So I'm saying like none of this shit really matters.
It doesn't.
But at the same time, to some extent, it does matter because at the end of the day, we live this physical world, which is like, cool, if I don't have food for the next week, like, it's gonna, like, how am I meant to exist in a physical realm of whatever?
No,
but at the same
that's-
time, in the end, in the final end goal, when my soul leaves my body and everything else,
Yeah.
like, none of that shit
None of that
mattered.
matters. No,
like, really
but-
and truly.
there's a balance to it, and that's what, like, for us Muslims, that's what Islam implements. There's a guidance and a limit at the same time. I can't now say, because I'm not meant to be materialistic in Islam, I'm not gonna own any material possessions. I don't want a house. I don't want garms. I don't want clean clothes. Nothing. I don't care. I'm gonna wear the same clothes every day because I don't want to be attached to the material. In Islam, that's wrong. Even though we're taught not to be material, do not attach yourself to anything in this dunya. That is wrong as well, because you still have a duty to, go about presenting yourself in the best manner, educating yourself, providing for your
But also
family.
not suffering as well, right?
No, of course, yeah.
Because
You can't cause harm to yourself and your family.
part of material world is like not to suffer in the material world.
Yeah.
But like you can, because let's say like if you can be like super like spiritual and religious and everything else, then your soul might be thriving, but in the physical world you're suffering, like, you know what I'm saying, you're struggling and suffering, even though it's temporary.
But there's a limit. So it could be, like, for example's sake, Muslims are meant to deal with interest, riba, what we call it. So a traditional mortgage is haram for me. So it could be me suffering, paying rent for the rest of my life and not owning a house. For me, that's not suffering though, do you know what I mean? For me, that's a sacrifice I'm making because of my religion and because of my belief and because, that's my truth. So there's levels to the suffering. There is also a fine line where it's like you're living a bad quality of life because you don't want to be material. That's where it's like, no, you can't do that. But it's also, don't overexert yourself into the material. Have what you need, live within your means. Don't go beyond that which you can achieve in a halal way. Do you know what I mean? If you're a billionaire, this material like conversation, it doesn't really matter. But if I am where I am now, I shouldn't be going out of my way to, getting the latest garms, the best designer to show people, yo, you know, I got it like that, or just to even make myself feel good. There is no need. That is attaching to the material, but at the same time, I do need a nice set of clothes that I can wear to different situations and present myself in the best manner. So that's where that little balance is. How about you wait for the mic to be activated? Huh? Take your own advice.
Yeah, remember at the beginning he was like,
You see that?
Costa,
I'll do
and let
it,
me
do
know
it.
if you're gonna talk and that. Remember that, yeah.
How about you let us know,
Aladdin, let him know if you're gonna talk and that, yeah.
Why you?
Why me? Why me? Nah, that's my takeaway from it. Why me?
Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can talk.
He
now,
has
yeah.
given you the free will to
I
talk.
appreciate that. I watched a movie in 2018. You know what movie this is? And there's a
Speak
line-
into the mic a little bit, please.
Yeah, put the mic closer a little bit,
closer,
bro.
please. Just a little bit. Yeah,
Please.
thank
Yeah, bro. A bit closer.
I listened to the audio. I know this is
you.
fun.
Alright, go on.
Bro, he won't give you the free willy
Shut-
after.
Whoa! I
Why?
watched a movie in 2018, and there was a line in that movie that didn't really hit home until recently. You know what
Okay.
movie this is?
Go on.
The line is attachment to the material is detachment from the spiritual.
Doctor Strange.
No, that's actually Wong, but it's fine.
No, it is Doctor Strange.
It's
bro.
Wong. Well, Wong said it's a strange.
Huh?
But Wong said it's a strange.
So what movie was it?
Infinity War.
Oh,
Anyway,
Can't hear you, bro.
it was the scene where they're walking down and then,
Tuning
yeah,
up,
where
yeah.
he says he has no money.
there we go. So it really started to hit home for me recently because I started working with Reese as a life coach, and he has a very spiritual take to how he chooses to live life, right?
Mm.
And so I started to like look into my attachments to the material, what it is that I love that holds no spiritual value to me. Now,
Mm.
spiritual could be taken in any way, right? It can be taken
Yeah,
religiously, it can
sure.
be taken stones and shit, crystals or whatnot, or
We're not going to get into that
We
debate
don't- we
because
don't
there's
have
not
to.
enough time. Your SD cards are going to last this one. Yeah, I'll be so real.
we'll
with
get
you.
there. I'm using the word spiritual in that sense. And so I started to really look into like, what does my spiritual self desire, and what does my material self desire? And when I started to understand that, I started to not care about shit. One of the questions that a good friend of ours used to ask all the time is, who are you being when you do this? Who are you being when you do this? Who are you creating yourself to be when you do this? So I started asking myself the question, who am I being when I desire certain garms or certain, I don't know,
Cars.
shoes or whatever, cars, whatever, yeah. Who am I being when I have these kind of desires, right?
Yeah.
And then who am I being when I choose to desire love
Mm.
or choose to desire
It's a techie one right now, though. isn't
joy
it?
and whatnot? Yeah. And so, so that's it. It's like that line is, and I guess the reason why I bring up is a lot of these lines that I hear them years ago, and I really just recently started to kind of like a great example was one I used to bring up all the time is Shia LaBeouf. Do it, make your dreams come true. We used to laugh at that shit because it was a meme, it was a joke. Well, now that we're older,
I mean,
Would you-
Nike did say it first, though.
next year just do it. But I'm saying the whole idea of Shia LaBeouf, like if you watch the video, he has this kind of rage of this anger of how he's like he was shown something, and he
Drugs,
potentially
crack.
also potentially, but it was almost like he was shown how easy life can really be, and then he was almost like he had this desire or this duty to share to the world.
Yes.
It's fucking easy.
that
Just fucking
that
do
that
it.
millionaire who,
He's
that
been through his own
it
shit as
was
well, man.
relatable.
He's been through his own shit, man. Those Transformers movies are horrible.
Transformers movies were
They're
horrible.
horror. But what the fact I'm trying to make.
There's a
Not-
podcast I'm not going to mention. Yeah.
That's why I was But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of these things that we look at a certain point of our lives,
Mm.
we may laugh at it as a joke, or we may just like how it sounds. But in terms of actually aligning ourselves with it and really trying to understand it, it is a beautiful moment to revisit. Infinity War is a movie I've watched 1 million times.
Mm.
The movie came out in 2018.
Yeah.
It's now 2024. 6 years later, now that line's means
Yeah,
something.
but that comes based on what we said right at the beginning of the pod. It's based on some things come with age and some things come with experience.
I know, yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
But
It
what I'm
won't.
saying
It
is-
won't hit till now because you've been living in a cocoon.
Yeah, 100%.
You get it? Like you're
Yeah.
now starting to experience life, which is
Mm.
why you're understanding this stuff,
Right.
which is amazing to see.
I know. So what I'm saying is that when that click happens,
Yeah.
of oh shit, because it lives in the back of my head because it just sounds nice. Attachment to the spiritual, if it's material, it's attachment. It sounds nice, and it stays in the head for a little bit. And I think that's what I like about quotes. Quotes are just like really powerful messages said in a very nice way. So that alignment when it clicks, it's like, oh shit, this actually has something. Oh yeah, that moment is like I strive for those moments.
So here's a line for you on that. Yeah, line on top of lines on top of you get me. You know what I'm saying?
Hollywood party.
Corporate party.
So yeah, coming like one of them crazy parties. But yeah,
no Diddy.
Whoa. How did we get
this
there?
Ain't Leo Spotify.
Yeah. How do we get there? That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
Ain't no part like
So there's this thing of like and this is a nice way of just kind of remembering that. But there's a thing of like we don't meet learning meets us based on where we're at. And that's what happens a lot of the times in life. Yeah. So people got this thing. I'm gonna go learn this and learn that, whatever.
I'm gonna mute you.
Yeah.
I'm making sound effects.
Exactly.
Talk, fam.
No, but there's a thing like people think, oh, like I'm gonna go learn this and learn that. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes based on our experiences, learning meets us. That's why you can watch the same movie 3 years later and go, shit, this movie's different, or I'm taking away this thing from you because that learning is meeting in a different place.
Yeah.
It's
that's
like
why the
you're
Kung
in
Fu
a
Panda movies are the best animated movies in the world.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, since you're here, you can start.
Sick.
Let's start what isn't even on camera.
No, that's
as
not
it should be.
not. I know, I should always be on camera, shouldn't I? Okay. We're gonna wrap up. And so the way we wrap up is we ask, I guess, 3 questions if you want to be more technical.
Sure.
I'll ask the first 2 and Leo will ask the final one. The first 2 are promotion-based questions.
Sure.
And what I would like you to do is promote 2 sets of things. The first set of things I want you to promote is something that has no direct relation to you whatsoever. Something that you've seen that you enjoy, maybe a book that you've read or movie that you've seen, or
how does that have no direct
that
relation
like,
to me then?
But as in, like, you don't benefit from it by it being promoted, kind of thing, or you haven't had any part in its creation or that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's the first set, and then the second set is something on the complete opposite, something that belongs to you, something that you've created, or something that you've. And so I want you to kind of promote those 2 things to the camera or to us, up to you.
Alright, the first thing I promote that I didn't create or have a hand in is Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously you might not be religious, you might be lost in your life, whatever. Just for the sake of researching it, I would say definitely research it. There's so many layers to this religion where you can study for years and still not know stuff. Which is why I think, even from a research perspective, it's an amazing topic to dive into.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Second person in a row to promote Islam.
So actually, that's
Sammy
one of the
last
things
week
you're
promoted
spoken
Islam
about
as
as
that's my
well.
guy.
Go on.
Never met him though.
No, I was saying,
Soon come.
I said
Yeah, definitely.
that should have been one of the topics we were spoken about today, but we haven't. So here's where it is now.
Yeah,
Next time.
part 2.
Ooh,
Part 2.
Sammy and Mass Part 2 would be crazy.
I'm down.
That'd be
I'm down. Let's do it.
amazing. That'd be such a good one. We might need a bigger couch, but other than that, we should be fine.
If it fits your business,
Yo, that one there.
that's crazy. This is coming from the guy whose nose sticks out more than
That's
his feet.
crazy,
It's
bro.
nuts.
That's crazy.
My nose arrives home half an hour before I do.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
And the second set of promotions, please.
Okay, second set of promotions. Big things coming. Keep an eye out. Yam Productions is coming to a town near you.
Maybe.
Big things coming is a bit crazy, bro.
Why?
Let him.
Why?
It was a why.
Huh?
So why?
Nah, so carry on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no party like a daily
Yeah.
party.
Also, check out Cutting Edge. Come on, best barbershop in the East.
Phased by Faz. Like phased by Maz. Naturally.
I'm so happy you can't see your trim right now.
Because it was
bad promo. Yeah, I guess those are the things I own.
Cool.
Yeah, shout out Newham Council. Final question.
What's going on?
Who's the Newham Council?
Yeah, I do work for Newham Council, but what am I gonna promote? Guys, go and live in Newham. What?
Pay your taxes.
Nah, don't
I don't
live
even
in,
I don't even live in Newham. What?
don't live in
I just
Newham.
work.
Yeah, let's not live in Newham, please.
Yeah,
Oh.
just
Shout out 5 for peace.
shout out Fat for Beef.
Shout out Faz, please.
If anyone wants to know what Newham is like, go to Queen's Market in Upton Park. I'd recommend you go there around 7 p.m.
On a Saturday.
Go to the marketplaces on any day, to be honest.
Green Street.
Yeah, it's if you see loads of people gathering there, just know it's not an event. Just know that's not an event. If you see people smoking things there, just know that it's not cigarettes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, crazy. One time there was a friend of mine came to visit in Upton Park, and he parked his car where the car park is down there. And I knew, like, trust me, I seen some of these crackheads around. Yeah, actually, sorry, some of these drug addicts. I apologize, not crackheads.
Yeah, politically correct. Come on.
No, that's not politically correct.
They could be like.
I'm starting to like come with more love in it. I got love, and sometimes I'm a bit like, I also got conditioned to make jokes about these people, and yeah. But either way, yeah, he was going to the car park to get his car. I was walking with him, and I've never seen that in my life in London before. I saw about 30 drug addicts down there smoking, chilling. Yeah, it was wild. I've not seen 30 in one spot like that before.
Crackfest is crazy.
Yeah, someone off camera said Crackfest. I'm trying to be a better. Trying actually is not a good word. I'm being a better individual. You know, coming with morals and stuff, and someone's calling it Crackfest. That's crazy.
Oh, no,
but yeah,
that's crazy. It's because you couldn't hear him. That's why he said it.
He's judging me.
Yeah.
He's called you a crackhead now.
See, now I'm gaslighting him. But anyway, last question I want to ask you is, when you get a chance to say something to 8.1 billion people, what would you tell them?
When I get a chance, if I had the chance.
When you get a chance.
Okay. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
That's a lot of subscribers, bro.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
It's a lot of subscribers, isn't it?
Send me £1 each.
Yo.
Be accountable. Stay happy. Be in charge of your own emotions. Life's easy.
Coming from trainee accountant, be accountable. I like that.
Cold.
Yeah.
Bars.
I don't deal with just tax, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Life accountant.
I deal with just eat.
Nah, Deliveroo.
Wow.
Deliveroo, you get a
wow. No, I let him take it out of context.
Wow.
That was just wordplay, but we can cut it before that anyway.
Nah, we don't need
to that ain't gonna cut it, bro.
Hey,
I already know we're
not solid word.
That's never gonna work.
But yeah,
Aladdin never worked.
Nah, I can't be rich from saying that, but Sammy and Maz will take the whole sofa.
Oh yeah, I just said that. Of course I said that.
Nah,
sorry.
That's wild.
I'm sorry, I said that.
You can't even talk on that. But anyway, yeah, on that note, bro, it's been a blessing to have you.
Truly,
an amazing conversation.
Long overdue. I shouted you for this. Not your fault, but I shouted you.
Whoa.
No.
I said I want to be on this pod 2 years ago.
I know. I'm saying. I'm not saying I shouted you and you delayed. I'm saying when we first spoke about this during UMIOS.
Yeah.
It's not even a mess. But anyway, on that note, love and blessings.
Not even that. When was UMIOS? 2020?
No, yeah, just after 2020, yeah.
Yeah, so
the 2021 kind of thing. That's when we first had a conversation.
That's when I said I want to jump on BTS.
Nah, it's not. It wasn't UMIOS. It was UMI Bus.
Wow.
Are you keeping that one in?
Yep, that's where it ends.
Nah, that's not in there. Nah, that's not in there.
I work.
I'm not premiering it, bro. Just know that it's. I'm the account. I'm deleting the account.